back to 80 days as we continue our journey around the world. We are in Izmir. Let's go to the marketplace before we set off, if it lets us. Right, oh, we've already been here. Let us carry on travelling. We'll explore to get new routes. So we've got a route to Istanbul, which we don't need. Is that it? Okay. Although the port of Semir, or Izmir as the locals call it, was the gateway to the Ottoman trade with Europe. Although sadly that meant most of the boats were going the wrong way, at least for our purposes. I struck a conversation up with a Greek textile merchant marking off bolts of raw silk for export to Venice. "What's your trade?" she asked in the French of the merchant class. "Or are you a tourist?" Guilty as charged, I offered a charming smile, but her eyes merely narrowed. "I do not understand tourists. Why go somewhere else unless you have a purpose?" She made another mark in her ledger with more force than was strictly required. "We are going round the world," I declared with some enthusiasm. She rolled her eyes so thoroughly I feared she would do herself an injury. I should have expected nothing else from the culture which invented the galette. She sighed, but to my chagrin declined to elaborate upon her distaste for this delicious foodstuff. I asked about onward travel and she shrugged. "I have no idea of the most pleasant journeys," she replied, "but the fastest must surely be the Camel from Istanbul to Turin and beyond. It is a wonderful kind of engine. I bid her farewell. As the sun began to set, cloaked members of the Artificers Guild appeared to light the gas lamps along the harbour front. A sailor played a tune on the lyre, where his compatriots sang along. It's going to be a beautiful night in Izmir. Oh, another route. Yeah, that doesn't help. I need to get to there. I took a brief stint at Mountain Docks and the moon rose. "You looking for passage?" "Yes, I am actually." I thanked him and said we'd consider it. Further along I encountered a few grizzled souls playing dominoes. I watched them play, but could make nothing of it. They appeared to be strategies and counter plays, but it seemed as random as a game of Find the Lady. A despicable pastime. We've got our route that we need. Sell the bust of Apollo. We will see if we can get them to go today. Will they go today? Oh, it arrives tomorrow, but it departs now, so let's take it. Yep. Gotta love the design of this little ship. We boarded a small boat that smelled of various kinds of fish which pulled out of from port at first light. Let's converse, see where we can get from Antonia now. "Greetings, enjoying your voyage?" "Yes." "What do you want, Antonia?" "And now there's a tale." Right. So we need to go that way. So let's see if we can get to Tehran. All it says, collectors in Benesseres will pay fantastic amounts for astrolades. Okay. We got a Beirut. Okay, you don't know much. Oh, I could have asked for Alexander. That would have been helpful. I could have been a fisherman. The slow glint of the waves that could lull one to sleep if the fish themselves weren't so damn slippery. The free-flowing beer that greased the line. The splosh of the fish as I tossed back alive. On hearing that, the fishermen with whom we were sailing were most furious with me. I ducked hastily below deck, their curse ringing in my ears. My master looked up from his book and merely averted his nostrils, declaring, "Passepartout, you smell of fish." Perhaps I'm too soft to be any kind of hunter. Okay. Yeah, I picked wrong there. Could have conversed again, but it's fine. We rounded the coast of Turkey, clinging to the shore. We saw several other boats plying the waters. Some fishing vessels, some ferries. I asked the fisherman about the port into which we were heading. He shrugged. Nice enough place, small. I don't think you want to stay long. You'll be back on a boat within a few hours. I fancy I heard Monsieur Fogg groan, but no, I must have imagined it. A few hours later, we were on dry land once again. A bath, Monsieur Fogg murmured. I must have a bath. Yeah, stinking of fish, that'll do it for you. Right. Oh, it's the drinking horn that we're selling here, isn't it? Sell that. And that gets us our profit. Let's move the water bladder here and get an Indian train timetable. Right, that will sell in Cairo, so we will head south. That, I don't know where Harley is. One sec, I'm just going to Google it. So Harley is in Saudi Arabia, so it's a bit further along. So if we take Cairo, where's that go? That's Cairo. We can go to Tehran first, actually. What are these? They're valuable in Tehran as well. So if we sell that and we buy them, what are they? They're good in Harley as well. So if we let's sell that and get that as well. So that is good in Harley. That's good in Harley. And these two are good in Tehran. So we have our route. Right, we've got our Indian routes here. So if I press click, it'll go faster. Buenos Aires to Voltaire, Chittagong to, I can't read that because it's under the routes. Right, that's the rest of the day. I spent my afternoon rambling around Kalisik, the historical centre of Antalya, which was where I happened upon a group of Turkish dockhands unloading crates of Venetian goods into a warehouse, flying the French flag. They had a passable grasp of French, no doubt a prerequisite of working for their French employer. One Monsieur Fontaine, though we never met him, with them added bitterly. I nodded and moved along without engaging them in conversation, and enjoyed the sights and smells as night fell, before returning to my own, equally mysterious employer, Monsieur Fogg. Right, let's explore to get a route. Right, so there's a boat going to Beirut, and then to Alexander to Cairo. That will actually do us, so we'll take that straight away. Can we negotiate 2,600 or 750 for tomorrow? Oh, we can go to Alexander, and that'll be 660 for tomorrow. That will be 660 for tomorrow. So we'll stay here for the night. We've already checked all that out, so let's stay for a day. Before retiring, I ran a few errands for the hotelier, earning £82, as well as overhearing from him that some buyers will pay well for Eastern spices. I've already got them. Let's go to Beirut. Oh, it departs tomorrow as well. Oh yeah. I would have negotiated it, and it would have cost me $660 to make it tomorrow. So this now sets off tomorrow. $660 for today, and we'll take that deal. And we'll set off. So we're aiming to get to Turan first. We need to go right more than down. So the Nefertiti was a tall-masted Egyptian clipper that sailed around the coastline from Antioch all the way to Alexander. I was content to enjoy the ride for as long as it would last. The boat sailed smoothly, the water was clear and beautiful, and with Monsieur Fogg happily I can't read that word, below decks, I was free to enjoy a stroll on deck well into the evening, though I was the travelling gentleman and not his personal Sherpa. Let's come to this. Oh, wrong one. No, well, I've healed you a bit at least. The evening drew on, and the crew served ginseng slings with great cheer, and Captain nodded me as the liquor was poured. "Enjoy," he called as I saluted him with my glass, and savoured the cool drink as the sun went down in fire and smoke across the sea. Yeah, but I'm going to wait until I get to Haiti for that one. Loaded dice, neck cushion again. No, we're alright. Let's plan. No. Oh, we can't explore because it's this time of night. So we will sleep. We found no true hotel, only a boarding house of rooms around a central courtyard in which a fountain danced, and various people sat and talked in hushed tones. As I looked about, I found something suspect in every pair of eyes I met. I retired quickly, wanting to avoid trouble, but their voices seemed to echo around the structure and into my dreams. Weak as a kitten. No. Knife at all, and so much money, I never believed it. Weak as a kitten. Thought those were choices. I placed a pillow over my head and stayed put, but my eyes would not close, as though someone was propping them open with toothpicks. I stayed where I was and simply listened as the voices uttered threat after threat against my person, my master, or journey. I woke with a pounding headache and a nervous twitch in one eye. I hoped it would disappear if we left, and soon. Let's explore. We need another route inland, and it looks like we've found one, and it's going exactly where we need to go. Streaming through bedrooms, an airship swung in the air. I stayed near the quayside, where an Albanian sailor offered me a game of dice. I was only too happy to accept, despite a troubled relationship with Lady Luck. I bet £2, and he rolled at a hard 4 to start, telling me he had just been released from Lazaretto, which is a sort of maritime quarantine. He told me about his cargo, opium of the highest quality, though here's the joke, it is technically British opium, purchased straight from Turkish farmers, then resold for a profit in the Arabian Balanza. It's coal to Newcastle. What? That's a strange exchange which required a substantial, unfortunately lengthy explanation about British industry. The Albanian nodded along, but I fear he did not a particularly attentive student. My mistress could sell a recipe for cumlet to her. Don't even know what that is. To an Albanian grandmother, and probably castles to Newcastle as well. The sailor says she used the profit to fund her expenditures into the desert. What a daring woman! As he made his third roll, the sailor told me that her expenditure camp was in Hali, some distance to the southwest, and always in need of an extra pair of hands. An interesting thought. I rolled snake eyes and handed over my money with as much grace as I could muster. The Albanian patted me on the shoulder, and I decided to return to my master before I found any more trouble in Beirut. It's only got now £2. Oh, that's a camel. Let's plan ahead, see if we can get set off earlier. Right, no. So the airship leaves for Haley tomorrow, so we will stay another day. No, we took a room and settled in, and I spent a while talking to the hotelier to find out what I could, but came away with nothing but advice for doing laundry. Right, we will depart on the airship. Yeah, look at this fantastic thing. We departed Beirut on an Ottoman Geyser airship. The envelope was painted all over with interlocking geometric patterns which continued into the corridors inside. I could feel the rumble of the engine below my feet, louder than I was perhaps used to. The geeks were coal gas rather than steam powered, a useful feature since so much of the Ottoman land was desert. Right, so see if we can find a route to Tehran now. Can we go that way? How about that way? How about that one? Right, we've got some more routes now. That's Camel. We've got that as well. I looked in on the control room, more spacious than European standard, but similar, arrayed with altimeters, gas valve controls, inclinometers and gyroscopes. I waved to the captain, who cast me a weary look and signalled to the crewman to attend me. "Can I help you?" the crew member asked in passable French. "What can you tell me about Harley?" I asked. The crew member shrugged. "Not much. It's a much nicer place than others around here." "What's the best way across the desert?" "Camel. Nothing else travels in a desert." "What about airships?" "Not that I know of." I sighed. A low buzzer began sound and the captain began barking orders as we descended. The crewman excused himself, and I paced the observation deck until we docked at our destination, the desert settlement of Hali in the Al Rashid Emirate. Right, let's get our money. Right, Eastern Spices. How much are you worth then? 450, that's good enough for me. Bust of Apollo. 7,000. Ho ho. Ooh, that'll be useful. What's this? We're probably not going that way. Oh yeah, thinking about it, but I think I'm going to sell that because it's not going to be much use. I'll buy the boots because that'll help when we go to the next bit, when we cross the big seas, and that'll do. So Cairo, so we've got this route which we don't really need, this route which we don't really need because we're over here already, so that was pointless. Let's sleep. Ali was the capital of Al Rashid Emirates, crowned by the newly constructed Bazan Palace, a grand structure over 3 stories with lush gardens flourishing amidst the sand and dust. It was no Versailles, but then how can any place compare to a familiar shapes of home? Versailles had built an edifice in my Frenchman's soul not so easily replaced. Still, Bazan Palace, unusually for edifices of its sort, did not dominate the town but sprawled gently into the busking soke. Traders from all lands and sects intermingled easily under the protection of the progressive emir, Tala bin Rashid. I entered the cool central tent. The interior was covered with scuffed silk carpets, upon where scattered orange and red embroidered cushions for seating. Monsieur Fogg was seated rather stiffly, conversing with a team of caravaneers. I caught his eye, and he gave me a nearly imperceptible nod, which I took cue to insert myself into conversation. The caravaneers were Bedouins of the El Balawi tribe, and their sheikh was mounting an expedition into the Rub al-Khali desert. Nasir was the only one who spoke English, and so was their representative. We seek the ruins of the fabled lost city of Iram of the Pillars, the city of tent poles. Tall tales. I was surprised to see this man was so interested in legends. Nasir shrugged. My sheikh commands us to search for the city in the desert, and we so shall we. Our expedition leaves at dawn. Join us if you must. It is no matter to me. He bowed his neck and left from on level tribesman. I turned to Monsieur Fogg. I am not keen on desert travel. No, the Rub al-Khali means the empty quarter, he replied thoughtfully, and yet Aristotle says, horror vacu, that is to say, passepartout, nature abhors a vacuum. He said little else until a hearty meal of stewed goat and rice later. He suggested we retire to our rooms. I had a suspicion that Harley would be the last full night's rest I would have for some times. Right. So that route goes down south, all the way to that one. I will not be taking us that way. Horse and cart will be useful, so we're going to go this way via Camel. He's going to lose 51 health going this route. The caravan train to Rydak was led by an aristocratic Englishwoman wearing Bedouin robes and seated astride a chestnut mare. I found out that her name was Lady Anne Blunt. Why, she was no double to the Albanian sailors, opium trading mistress. A surprising turn-up. Let's wait. Yeah, I don't think we've read the paper though on the Camel, so that speeds it up a little. 8 lightly loaded camels were roped together in a train. We will be travelling fast and hard for Rydak, Blunt announced. The 2 camels at the back are yours, gentlemen. Do not slow us down. I watched the caravanners as they mounted, which was lucky, as there was clearly a trick to mounting the camel. Beyond staying out of the kicking or spitting or biting range, they knelt for mounting, and the passenger was obliged to lean back as they raised themselves up. Forearmed, I mounted tolerably well, though poor Monsieur Fogg failed to heed my warning and landed in a sandy heap. A somewhat ignoramus start to our desert journey. So it's going to take a few days. Let's wait again. Right at 3 free from the copy storage, okay. The desert seemed quite endless. I asked Monsieur Fogg to adopt Bedouin robes, but alas, rebuffed. He remained in his sable row suit, woolen socks, leather shoes, and cravat. By mid-afternoon, however, he accepted a length of thin cloth to cover his head and protect his mouth from the constant sand-flecked wind. The less said about the travels of the day, the better, though at least I was sensibly tired for the journey. Let's care for Mr. Fogg. Lady Blunt trotted us up during a rest break, looking at us with some easy superiority, which Kazada, her chestnut mare, regarded the other camels in the train. She clearly disapproved of our condition and made no secret of it. I was quite shocked by her, if you would forgive the pun, dear reader, bluntness, having thought her of the same mould as Resentile. Monsieur Fogg, you will keep up or we will leave you behind," she pronounced with every sign of truthfulness. One of the other camel riders gave an almighty shout and threw his skin on the sand. A glistening black scorpion crawled on top of it without a moment's hesitation. Lady Blunt leapt from her horse, kicked the scorpion away from the canteen, and crushed it beneath her leather boot. "This is an inhospitable place," I observed to Monsieur Fogg, who actually favoured me with a brief upward curl of the lips. "Truer words were never spoken," he muttered softly, as Lady Blunt remounted her mare and called to the caravan to move on. I shook the stand from my scarf and girded myself to continue our journey. Let's wait again. We are dapper. Okay. Yes, it is strenuous. I'm aware. Khalid, the rider in front of me, was clearly far more experienced, for he managed to twist himself around and wave when the scalding wind died down. "You are Anis bint London's cousins?" he shouted in passable English. "Anis bint London?" I frowned. He pointed. "Oh, you mean Lady Blunt?" "Yes," he agreed patiently. "Anis bint London. You are cousins?" "Surely we are not," I exclaimed, shocked at the very notion. "We are simply travellers going in the same direction." "It is just your friend has the same look about him, very, refined," I offered, but he shook his head. "No, that is not it. More like that." Then proceeded to make a impenetrable, energetic minds a camelback. We nearly fell off our camel several times and laughed a significant quantity of sand into our lungs in the process. Though we never did quite find Khalid's words, it did not feel okay. Now, it's an interesting conversation, though. He's now at 46 health, that doesn't help. The road between Hali and Rajak was not paved, but was well marked and provisioned with caravans and permanent settlements that clearly relied on the pilgrim trade. I remarked how busy it was to Khalid, who raised his eyes to the sky. "Once," he told me, "you could not spit a date stone for the number of pilgrims on this road, but the Ottomans change everything in their path." "Surely they respect the pilgrims? They share your religion, do they not?" "Oh yes, my friend," Khalid agreed. "Which is why are making the pilgrimage easier by building a railway line from Damascus to Mecca. Pilgrims are now travelling by stream train rather than camel. So these settlements are dying. So what if they die? That is the way of things. The old give way to the new. What will the traders do?" I asked, looking round at the merchants selling dates and lens of silk and fresh seared meat to tired caravanners. "They will learn new skills," Khalid shrugged. "I suppose change is the way of the world," I agreed, slightly discomfited at the price of such a change. Arranged before me, "My people have a chance to take our place in the modern world," I then. Khalid seized my shoulder. "We must stand up or be trampled. This is the way of things." I cannot deny that I look forward to easing myself from Camelback, with the sure knowledge that I would not be called upon to mount again in the morning. The hairs are thick and surprisingly sharp, capable of poking through even the most sturdy of woolen trousers. That is all I will record about the subject. I gave Monsieur Fogg a sip of water, for which he was rather grateful, though you wouldn't have known without a practised eye. As we reached the outskirts of town of Rajak, Lady Blunt unroped her mare and dropped back to bid us farewell. "My grandfather would have left you in the desert and not looked back," she informed me without inflection. "You are lucky I am not him." Well, quite so, given that her grandfather was the notorious Lord Byron. Mad, bad, and dangerous to know. as the London witch would have it. "Good luck on your future travels," she said primly. "I doubt we shall meet again." Khalid, rather more practically, gave me the name of his uncle in my deck, and so, well armed, we entered the town of pale sand, some of the buildings on foot. Okay. As we enter Rydak, that will be the end of this part. See you in the next part when we journey on in a race around the world.